I'm looking at common mistakes lots of people make, and I'm looking for best practices. So if you don't mind ending today's episode with just diving into a few common mistakes you hear lots of people making that can be fixed, maybe even easily, and then a couple of best practices.
Yeah, sure. Number one, I'm going to probably reiterate some things that I've already expressed, but, common mistakes, thinking where you're recording doesn't matter. It does. Think about the type of show that you want your audience to hear. If it doesn't involve outside nature, then don't record in an environment where there's a lot of outside nature. I've had a person in chat ask how to remove basically all the sounds of the birds and dogs. And he recorded this interview in a park. I'm thinking, don't record the interview in a park. Go somewhere else. Look, go to a library. I've done that. Some libraries have, ISO booths. So environment matters. Microphones matter. And you don't have to spend a lot of money on microphones. You can get decent microphones for what you want so that you're not picking up a lot of the noise that you don't want. Like we talked about, the chairs or maybe you're kicking your desk or something like that. So those are really the two biggest mistakes that I hear a lot from different podcasts. And, choose your platform. For some things, when I say choose your platform, I'm talking about your medium. Like Zoom is great for a lot of interview style recordings, but when you want to take your audio level to the next level, then you have to get off of Zoom and start recording on different platforms like a Squadcast or a Riverside, which don't record in compressed MP4 files. Now, again, it's kind of nerding out here, but when you go from compressed to WAV files, that's going to give your post-production team, your podcast engineer, more detail to work with, and they can do a much better job of enhancing the audio. So if you think of it like this, we're all familiar with pixels, right? When it comes to cameras. So the more pixels, the better, the more detail you can see, the less pixels, the more blurry it is, right? The better the resolution. Well, compressed files that you get from Zoom are very low res, low pixelation. When you go to Riverside and Squadcast, now we're getting into the high res where there's a lot more detail and you can capture more of the nuances and details of the voice and draw out what you really want as opposed to the overly compressed files from Zoom. So again, it really depends on the type of audio that you're satisfied with for your audience in terms of whether or not you use like Zoom or Riverside or, one of those type of platforms. Those are the three biggest things that I feel make a big difference in terms of your podcast sounding as good or better than the next person's. If you think about those three things, where you're recording, the mic you use, and how you're recording, then, that will really set the stage for what your audience hears.